lovelies, Dr. Ashley Greer here. Today I wanted to reach out to you to talk more about taking the lid off of life. Really reaching out for what you think is possible. And to stop limiting yourself based on these ideas that you were probably taught somewhere along the way about what was actually possible for you in your life. Because you see, our entire capabilities, our entire life and everything that we're capable of in our life is based upon what we think. It's based upon our own ideas of what we think is possible in our life. And so if we only think that we're capable of this much, then guess what? We're only capable of this much. Because we are only capable of what we think we're capable of. One of these beautiful stories that I love about this is the story of the fleas. If you put fleas in a jar, fleas can jump 3 feet at a time. And if you put fleas into a jar, they will learn to jump only as tall as the jar. And they will stop jumping about, like a fraction of an inch below the lid. They start doing that because they learn that that's the limit. That's the limit of what they can do. Eventually, then the offspring of those fleas doesn't hit the lid anymore. It just totally thinks that that's as far as they can ever jump. That's all they can ever do. That's all they're ever capable of. It's just learning. It's not even true. And that's why you have to take the lid off. You have to take the lid off of life. You have to take the lid off of what you think you're capable of what you think is truly possible for you in your life. Because what is truly possible for you is so much bigger than you actually think it is. What is possible for you is extraordinary living. One of the most amazing questions that somebody asked me that changed the entire flow, the entire path of my life. About 10 years ago, it was one of my best friends. She asked me, Ashley, do you want to live an ordinary life or an extraordinary life? And I knew I wanted to live an extraordinary life. I wanted to live a life that was full of freedom, that was full of the permission to be exactly who I am and show up without apologies, without any fear of embarrassment or feeling like I needed to impress people or like I needed to dim my light to make other people more comfortable. I wanted to really feel as though I could truly express myself, to have the freedom to express myself as exactly who I am, and to show up without apologies, to show up in ways that were truly authentic to who I actually am. Now, if you know my story, it took me quite a while to actually finally start living that way. For about 5 years after she asked me that question, I was like, yes, I want to be extraordinary. I want to be extraordinary. But I wasn't living an extraordinary life. I was living a life where I was constantly dimming myself, dimming my light, dimming what I was capable of. Because I thought I had to. I thought that was the way the world worked. I thought that was what society expected us to do as quote-unquote adults. You have to let go. Once you grow up, you have to let go of doing what you want and being who you are, and you have to put on a sweater set and look responsible and look, a certain way and be a business person. And I don't know why I talk in a funny voice when I'm talking that way, because that's sort of how I felt in my head. I felt like I was putting on a mask. I was putting on a persona of who I thought I was supposed to be in the world, and it really freaking sucked because it was all focused on trying to make other people happy. It was all focused on what I thought I had to do to be acceptable in the world. And the thing is it really was all about lowering what I thought was possible in my life. Because people get really uncomfortable with other people who do extraordinary things. The Wright brothers. When the Wright brothers invented flight, right? We fly today. We can fly to Europe because the Wright brothers. Everybody in their life thought they were nuts. Everybody thought they were crazy. They were like, what the heck are you doing? People cannot fly. What are you doing? Why are you putting all this time and energy and emotion and focus into learning how to fly? It's impossible to fly. But they did it anyway. And guess what? We know how to fly today because they did it anyway. They took the lid off and they didn't listen to what other people thought was possible for them in their life. And instead, they focused on what was truly, what they thought was important, what they were passionate about, what they were, really lit up about. They were exactly them, with no apologies. But it looked crazy to other people. And so you have to kind of get a little comfortable with being perhaps a little crazy to other people, seeming maybe a little unacceptable to other people, not quite in line with other people's expectations of how you're supposed to live your life. Screw those expectations. Screw those other people. The only person's opinion that matters of you and your life is your own. That's it. That's the only person who matters, is you and your own opinion. So stop giving everybody else the power. Stop giving your power away and saying they get to decide what's acceptable for me. And decide what's acceptable for you. Decide what you want. Decide how extraordinary you can be. And reach for it. And do it. Because I believe in you. I know how extraordinary you are. It's time to reach for it. It's time to do it. Take the lid off, lovelies. Till the next time. Bye.